The Psalter reading is Psalm 127, beginning with the first verse. If the Lord doesn't build a house, the work of the builders is useless. If the Lord doesn't watch over a city, it is useless for those on guard duty to stand watch over it. It is useless for you to work from early morning until late at night just to get food to eat. God provides for those he loves, even while they sleep. This is the word of God for the people of God.
How is it, friends, that we can work and work and work, and it can still end up feeling so empty, so pointless, so meaningless? Have any of you ever gotten to the end of a crazy busy day and someone asks you, "What did you do today?" And you think, "I worked all day, but what can I tell this person that I accomplished?" Has that ever happened to you, or is that just me? One other person. Cool, it's her and me, some of us, right? This is what the writer of Psalm 127 is grappling with. How is it that I'm working to build this house, which is a metaphor for this life, to watch over this city, right? All of the people, the workplace, the neighborhood, whatever is put under my power. How is it that I'm building this life, that I'm watching over my people, and things are slipping through the cracks, or it just doesn't seem to be leading anywhere? Why is it I'm up at night worrying? And how could it be different? That's what Psalm 127 is about. And I want us to begin with a little Hebrew word called shav. So that's the useless vain word. You'll see a lot of different translations because this is one of those words in Hebrew that it's really hard to get perfect with one English word. It's just a hard one. Because it's not just vain and it's not just useless. There's this spiritual component to shav that means it's empty, spiritually futile. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain, in shav. Unless the Lord watches over the city, all of us watchmen are watching in shav. There's this sense of futility. So if this is something we've been experiencing for thousands of years now, what's the solution? Well, Psalm 127 offers that. Unless who builds? The Lord. Psalm 127 is inviting us to change our starting point and to begin not with the work that we are doing, but with the work that God is doing. And we begin with God and we add our work to it, and then it's not shav, it's not empty. When God is doing that, it has meaning and purpose and life. One of the best ways we can do this, to begin with what God is doing, not with what we're doing, is to start our day in prayer. Just set your alarm 10, 15 minutes earlier tomorrow. Have you ever noticed, like say you have a week of beginning that week with God in prayer. Have you ever noticed how different that week is? Just like, wow, things are like going better for me this week, right? It's feeling more doable. That's because we began where Psalm 127 is saying to begin with God. And then our work falls under that. John Wesley is the founder of United Methodism, and he was apparently very fond of saying that the busier his schedule got, the more time he needed at the beginning of the day with God in prayer. It's so counterintuitive because we often think like, if I'm busy, God, you're going to understand. I got to get going. There's a lot to do. I know I'm guilty of that. But this psalm is reorienting us and saying, hey, do you want a day that is meaningless, empty, and pointless? Or do you want it full of life and purpose? So full. Begin with God. And then when we add our work to what God is doing, that's when things change. And so this is much more than a challenge to invite God along. Come on, God, on what I'm doing today. That's not bad. And if we want to start talking to God and invite God along on what we're about, that's a good start. But this psalm is inviting an entire reorientation to begin with what God is doing and then add what we are doing. And the best way I can think about this is with music. So Evan's going to help me out with this. Think of God's work as a song. A song so beautiful, so purposeful that the notes can only be divine. God's song, friends, was playing in this world long before we got here. The notes of God's song, they're going to continue after every one of us in this room has left the earth. God's song, God's work is so beautiful and so meaningful and so full of life, and our invitation is just to join it. We don't have to create our own music. We don't have to write our song. We take whatever talents and passions, whatever influence, whatever resources we have, and we build into what God is doing. The Jewish day, the day in the Bible, it started not at sunrise, when our days start. In Bible times, the idea of the day was that it started as the sun went down. And as we people wound down our work and slept, and when we woke up in the Bible, it's hard to imagine, but the Bible thinks of a day as when we wake up, it's half gone. And that can fundamentally change how we see things. If we just say, it's not mine to get up and make some music today and make it happen. God has been at work while I slept. The song has been playing. And all I need to do is rise and add my little piece to the music that God has already begun. Unless the Lord builds the house. It's an invitation to change our starting point. To begin with God's work. To rise every day and add what we can to the music that is already playing in our world.